Hello, hello. Welcome to Me Time with Mind Escape Vibe, where it is your time to be kind to your mind. I am super excited today because guess what? I have another guest for our May edition of Corporate Women Speak. My guest today is Dr. Janelle Jones, and I am going to take a step back, give her a moment to introduce herself to the Me Timers. How you doing, Janelle? Go ahead and introduce
Thank
yourself.
you so much for having me on your show today. I'm so excited to be here. I love the forum that you have. It's completely positive, and I'm so excited to be here. My name is Janelle Jones, and I have had a lot of careers. And so that's one thing. I think it's important to know that you can start off in one place and then pivot as life moves you. So initially, I went to school. I went to Howard University, you know,
We in
and
the building. We got the HBCU in the building.
that's right. I studied abroad in Japan while I was there, and then I graduated with a Bachelor of Business Administration. I worked on Wall Street for a little while doing corporate finance. And then in New York, I transitioned to the LA office because I spoke Japanese. Then I left the world of investment banking altogether. I did advertising and marketing in LA. And while I was doing that, I had the opportunity to work with different healthcare organizations, and that's how I found out about the healthcare space. So I decided I wanted to be a healthcare worker, but the field was so broad, I didn't know what to do. I went to the LA Center for a healthcare convention, and I went around to each and every booth, asking people, interviewing people about their experience in their respective healthcare careers. And then I chose nursing. And I was a bedside nurse for a while. I worked in Abu Dhabi, I worked in Mexico, I worked in Sweden doing research, and then I became an advanced practice registered nurse, or an APRN. That's a master's prepared nurse, and we can prescribe medications and in some states have our own practices. And then I went on to become a doctor of nursing practice. So DNP after my name, that's what I'm for. And then my specialty is psychiatry and oncology. And
Mm.
I practice uh, working with people who have diagnoses of mental health. So anxiety, depression, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, autism, things like that. And I am very passionate about music and my puppy Paisley and yoga and all things that enrich the soul. So thank you so much for having me.
I am excited to be here. I was getting excited just by, I'm like, okay, mental note. I was like, wait, I got to remember to ask this. So
Yes,
I
and
get
for
super excited.
thank you. And I guess most recently, because I do give a lot of psychiatric and mental health and well-being speeches around the nation, I was asked to start up a psychiatry program at a university. So now I am an assistant professor and a program director, and that has been a lovely journey. So yeah, it's never too late to pivot and start something new.
I am right there with you. I've done a lot of pivoting. Super excited that you're here today because the Corporate Women Speak edition, I really wanted to do this for emerging adults, especially for young people going into the workforce, maybe graduating college, maybe some that are already in the workforce and they're like, I don't know, do I really want to change? Something is not right. Maybe this will give them that that they need to just kind of sit down and think it through and maybe pivot.
Yeah.
So, corporate women speak is really something that I'm really passionate about. I really handpicked and what all of the ladies that I've asked to be on, and I'm just honored to have you here today. I am honored. So, I like to start by asking, what is your mental victory vibe celebration? What have you done, an activity or some time you've taken for yourself to fill your cup?
Sure. Well, I have a passion to just serve people, to pour into people. And there are a lot of issues that are near and dear to me. One sounds a little random, but one thing is drowning prevention. There are so many young um, people that drown. Um, not to bring the vibe of the show down, but there are so many children, who drown. If you search drowning deaths in the US, you would be shocked to find out how many little ones drown. And it is disproportionate by race. So
Mhm.
one mission that I have is really to be able to teach brown children how to swim, life-saving skills, all children, but especially brown children because of the disproportionate numbers there. And so recently I became certified as a swim instructor with the YMCA. And I will, continue giving swim lessons and life-saving skills to children. And then in the future, I hope to open up a foundation and receive grants where I can build a swim center and teach children how to swim for free. So,
Understand what you're saying there
mhm.
because it's not something that brown children or even brown adults we shy away from the water,
Yes.
partly because we don't know how to swim and
Mhm.
partly for that fear of drowning.
If your parents didn't know, then sometimes they didn't teach you, and it just gets passed down generationally. But yeah, we're both here in Tampa, so I feel like I should be able to give you some swim lessons.
I'll be there. I love to be outside. That's really how I fill my cup every day. I'm outside every time, all day,
Yeah.
as much as I can be. So I like that celebration pouring into these children, especially brown children, teaching them to swim because that's empowerment. They're going
Indeed.
to be empowered.
It's truly a life skill. Yes. So,
So, with that, what is your personal empowerment or self love theme song?
well, I have two. Sometimes you're in, different moods, different vibes.
One of my
So,
girlfriends calls it because she calls it her gritty mood for some of her
okay,
music. I was
okay.
like, okay, I'm gonna adopt that gritty.
I like that. One is called Just When I Need like a pick me up when I have some things that I'm working on. It's called Believe It by Chris N T. It's like Chris hyphen N hyphen TEEB. And it's just like believe it, achieve it. I can do anything. I can do
Get it,
anything.
girl. Sing it.
I love that one. It's just a bop. I'm like, I can do anything. If I believe it, I can achieve it. What? Yes. So I really like that one. And then there's another one. It's called Smile by Eugene King. And that one is definitely more philosophical. You listen to the words and it just motivates you. And it's just like, oh, smile and be grateful for what you do have.
Mm.
Even if you're feeling down, look around you. You have breath. You have, some people have
Yes.
mobility. Some people have,
Yes.
family, friends, a roof over your head for some, so just smile because you're here in whatever fashion or form that looks like. You're here. So,
I
mhm,
love it. I love it. I'm going to listen to both songs.
wonderful.
Every time I get a new song, I listen to it. And if it vibes with me, I
Yeah.
add it to my pleasure playlist, which
No.
I play every morning when I'm walking back. Sometimes if I'm walking, it depends on what I've done because I walk
Okay.
my dog a few times a week.
Yes.
And it depends on what kind of mood she's in, the kind of music I put on.
Yeah.
But then the remaining days when I go out, I start with a walk, but I walk to the subdivision workout space and
Okay.
I either do like the Stairmaster or incline walk.
Okay.
And I put that pleasure playlist on to get me
Yeah.
through. Sometimes it's the Renaissance album. Most
Oh,
times it is because it hit different when you're doing an incline walk with that. But and then I listen to my pleasure playlist walking home. So I always listen to them. That's why I write them down. I'm like, oh, I'm so excited. I'm getting
nice.
so many good ones.
Do you have like a Mind Escape vibe um playlist for recommendations that we've all sent in, like that people can just
Not
click and
yet,
listen? Mhm.
but it will be. I will by July because I have a nice collection. The more and more I ask, the more and more songs I'm getting.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's nice. It's nice. And then I get some that drop those vocals. Hey. Um, so, what is your process to express gratitude?
My process to express gratitude is immediately whenever I open my eyes, I just say thank you. So in the morning, as soon as I open up my eyes, I say thank you, Um, throughout the day, sometimes, if you just like feel a little stressed or a little tense, I tend to just like close my eyes. That's my innate reaction. And then as soon as I open my eyes, I'm just like, thank you. And oftentimes I feel like I need to exhale throughout the day. So sometimes I just feel like my shoulders are a little tense, and then I just say thank you. And it just like
Mhm.
relieves all the stress from my body. Just that thank you. It's so simple. And then there is a group of words that I say. It's like whenever I feel like something is off, I just say thank you. Um, I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. I just say
Mhm.
that. So let's say if I'm driving and someone flips me off or cuts me off, I'll just be like, thank you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. I love you. And it's something about those four statements that just kind of goes through my whole being and just resolves everything. It's like it covers everything. Like,
I like that. I'm gonna have to adopt that practice because
mhm,
yeah,
thank
getting out
you.
there on the roads, it can be quite challenging. And we're in the Tampa area. Just recently on the news, I was watching the news, and
Mhm,
sometimes it can just be the news is not it's news.
mhm,
And there was an incident just recently in the Brandon area where there was a road rage incident. I guess a woman ran into someone and pulled off, and they chased her, and at the light hopped out the car, jumped on her windshield, was beating on her windshield, beating on her windows. And I'm like, I do not want to get to that level of road rage.
mhm.
So maybe there should be a campaign to teach everyone those words
Yes,
so it
yes.
doesn't it doesn't elevate to that level of frustration and anger.
Exactly. It's just like, thank you. It's like, okay, thank you. And that just desensitizes, I'm not desensitizes, but what's the word? De-escalates initially.
Mhm.
And then I'm sorry, like, I'm sorry you're having a bad day. I'm sorry that I'm getting agitated. And then like, I forgive you for being wild and whatever you're doing and, trying to negatively impact my day, but I'm not having it. And then I just say, you
Mhm.
know what? I love you. Because when we send out love, whether it's reciprocated or not, I think that that's so impactful, So,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. I agree. How does this process of aligning with your gratitude process?
Mhm,
How does this help you when you have competing priorities in your professional life and
mhm,
it's pulling you in 50 different directions? And I know you're used to that. You're a
mhm,
nurse. Nurses get pulled in multiple
mhm,
directions.
mhm.
How do you handle it then?
Well, I think it goes back to being able to de-escalate and self-regulate. A lot of times, I feel like people experience emotional dysregulation because of everything that's going on, right?
Mhm.
You have to ultimately keep your self alive, right? You have
Yes.
responsibilities with yourself, hygiene, looking good, smelling good, feeling good. But then you may be a part of a family system. You mentioned
Mhm.
children. Some people have children. Some people have significant others. Some people have pets to take care of. So you have to exert energy in those spaces. Then you may have, work responsibilities or school responsibilities that you have to do. Then you may have your social responsibilities, your personal
Mm.
responsibilities, extracurriculars. So there is so much where at any given time, let's say, you're at work, you receive a text message from, a family member that something's happening. Somebody's been put in hospice care. Same time, you see a message across, a social media outlet that says, your friend is having a baby or something like that. Like there's so many inputs that can
Mhm.
just grab our emotions and just dysregulate us at once that you have to have that. For me, it's that key phrase, those key phrase words, or you have to have some type of internal locus that you can look at and it can ground you immediately. so that you're able to focus on whatever it is you need to focus on at the time, and then just get throughout your day and address other things as they come. So for me, I don't look at the news. Okay. I always say, like, whatever I need to know, God, just, let me know what I need to know. So I do hear about news and things like that. As it comes, especially around like election time and all that, I'll take time out to do my own research, but I really control the narrative of how I'm receiving news and what is put into my spirit. But also, I have different times for different things. So in the morning, when I first wake up, I wake up between like 4 to 6 a.m. And during that time, that's like the golden hours when you can get a lot of downloads, divine intervention, things like that. So that's the time that I meditate, I pray, I do my yoga practice, I journal, I, might do aromatherapy, burning incense or a candle that I really like. Probably a candle that I really, really like. I'm not going to promote any candles on here, but ooh, that scent, I'm like, oh, I Queen of Egypt, it just like it does something to me. That scent, I'm just like, woo, So that's when I drink my water, drink water all throughout the day. Stay hydrated, friends. But so in the morning, I don't, as soon as I wake up, I don't scroll on, social media or whatever, because I do believe that however my day starts, that's going to set the pace for the rest of the day. So if I start off my day peacefully, calm, and pouring into myself first, then I'll have more opportunity to handle what comes at me throughout the day. Then I will, take my dog on a walk and do like things with, the house, family, things like that. And then I will take about 30 minutes, check all the social media things so I can see who posted stuff from last night, what things happened last night while I was sleeping peacefully, getting my beauty rest as we all should, check out any things that have happened in the morning, whatever, 30 minutes. And then I move on from that. And then I have my time that I schedule out my day. And then I follow my schedule. And then I take about an hour and a half during the middle of the day to go out for a walk, stretch, eat a nutritious meal. I have a plant-based diet. So, I chop up a lot of veggies, a lot of fruits, things like that. And then I do the rest of my day. And then I'll give myself about 2.5 hours at the end of the day for various tasks. So if I'm doing like learning and development tasks, like learning a new skill or something, playing the piano, playing the cello, whatever it is, then I have blocks, 20 minutes of this, 20 minutes of that, and maybe I might be doing something while also listening to an audiobook, just different things. But I black out my day so that I'm in control of what's happening. So it helps to reduce emotional dysregulation.
So you've dropped some gems there. But
Okay,
the first thing that I'd like to ask to follow up, you
sure.
said you control the narrative.
Yes.
Okay. So how can an emerging adult or a young adult,
Yeah.
early 20s, maybe 18 years old,
Mhm.
um, develop their own, find their phrases and develop their phrases that they can go to help them control the narrative? Because I do believe that right now we live in a world where everyone is
Yeah.
on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn,
Mhm.
whatever your jam is, right?
Mhm.
And controlling the narrative can be quite challenging depending on what you see when you're strolling,
Yeah.
on these platforms.
Yeah.
So if they see something that triggers maybe something that bothered them that wasn't quite pleasant, what would you recommend how they do to start to develop their own phrases? Start
Mhm.
now and carry them over the course of years.
Mhm. Sure. So I would say that first and foremost, all of this social media, everything, it's all a game. All of, Facebook, Instagram, everyone has hired professional, neuropsychologists, people who study
You're
how
right.
you will react and how they can make these social media sites more enticing and enhancing so that you'll spend more and more time. Those sounds, TikTok has that sound at the end now, brrrm, at the end of each TikTok. These things, they embed into your psyche and it makes you want to hear them more. It makes you want to, all
Mhm.
of these notifications that come to your phone, I would say take off the notifications of the apps off your phone, take the apps off of your phone and put them on to like a laptop or something so that you're constantly not getting bombarded with these messages because you've been conditioned like Pavlov. You've been conditioned when you see a notification, oh my gosh, I need to respond to it. I have FOMO, fear of missing out. Like I need to be in the know. Oh my gosh, is Fashion Nova having a sale right now? Oh my gosh, what are the Kardashians up to? Like, oh my gosh, like it's just this conditioning. And these companies have hired experts to ensure that you are conditioned. So to control the narrative, eliminate the opportunity to be sucked into that.
Mm.
So like Instagram, Facebook, you can go in and you can put you can switch the toggles or the controls so that you don't get notifications all the time on your phone. You can switch it so that the app is turned off or in silent mode between certain hours of the day. You can make timers to something flashes up on your screen. So after like, hey, I've been on here for 30 minutes, like woo, 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 like chill out, you can do all of these things. But I would say if it's something you're really struggling with, take it off your phone, put it on an
Mm.
alternate device that is less easy to impact you all throughout the day. A lot of people, I know me, I have my cell phone. My cell phone is like my lifeline. So many people trying to
Yes.
contact me for work, for home, for social, whatever. But can't get caught up in the social media things because they are designed to keep you in. It's like IKEA. You go in there for one thing, it's a maze. They made it like a
Target.
maze. Yeah. So that you say, oh my gosh, I go over to the Home Goods, I go over to the food court, I go over to, I don't even have a baby, but oh my gosh, look at these pretty clothes. It's just like they make it this way. So it's just like social media. They make it, you click on one video, your friend sends you, kiki, kiki. And an hour later, you're still kikiing, knowing that, it's like now 4 a.m. You got to wake up at 6 a.m. Like, what's going on? So just monitoring those systems within the apps, taking them off your cell phones and putting them on alternate devices, but also getting to know who you are so that you won't be impacted by external things. The more self-esteem, the esteem you have from yourself, internal, not external. Getting to know who you are, getting comfortable with you. Do you know who you are? Do you love yourself? Are you doing mirror work? Are you standing in front of the mirror and saying, Janelle, I love you. I love you
Mm.
so, so much. You are the best person. We woke up like this. You are the best person. I
Mm.
need to protect you. I need to provide for you. You are worth everything. Are you affirming yourself? So when you go into the world, when you see these social media posts and everything, that, I mean, most of that stuff isn't real anyway. But when you see that stuff, you're not even impacted because you love yourself. You are so secure in your self-worth. And this self-worth, self-esteem is regardless of your income, regardless of your job, regardless of your social status, regardless of your skin color, regardless of your religion, of your gender, of your sexual preference. It's this innate, excuse my dog, he's like agreeing. He's like, yes, yes. This innate confidence
Mm.
and beauty and love that you have for yourself. So if you were just out in the woods with two sticks and somehow a bottle of water, I don't know how you got that out there, but would you would you be okay with you? Do you get
Mm.
bored easily? If you get bored of your own company, why is anyone else going to be interested in you? But that's another topic for another day. So just loving yourself, pouring into yourself, getting to know who you are, affirming yourself, and being confident and comfortable so that nothing can phase you. When I used to live in LA, this might be a little
Mhm.
bit off topic, but I was involved in this kind of community arts music event or dance program where
Okay.
women of all different ages and stages of life and colors and religions, and just it was just a kaleidoscope of women. And one of the exercises that we did was that after some time of knowing each other, so we had built up a rapport with each other, it was a safe space, kind of like the Soul Train line. There would be a mirror at the end of the line, and then women would stand on either side of the mirror, and your job was to walk down the line to the mirror, staring at
Mm,
yourself. The first time you walk down, all of the women, um, because we didn't just dance, we also shared space with each other and had like sister circle and talked about issues and stuff. So they knew us. All of the women would yell your insecurities at you. They
mm.
would yell what your fears were, how
Ooh.
you've been disappointed in life. But your goal was to be unbothered by all of that and focus on yourself, because in this life, no matter what people are yelling at you, no matter what you may see, no matter what your fears are, no matter what comes at you, you have to keep your eye on yourself. You have to
Mm.
keep your eye on your goal. You are the beloved prize, and you have to get through whatever you're trying to get through in life, despite this noise. So, social media, the news, I consider that noise. I'm looking at myself in the mirror and I'm saying, baby girl, I got you. We are here. We are in sync. And then the second time you walk through, everyone's yelling affirmations at you, what brings
Wow.
you joy, building you up. And it's a lesson, right? Because in life, people might break you down, whatever. Social media might tell you you're too this, you're too that, you're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too light, you're too dark, you're not black enough, you're too black, you're this, your hair's too short, whatever, right? But then it is as equal as important as it is to be self-assured. It's almost equally important to align yourself with a community that uplifts you and motivates you and builds you up and will hold you accountable for being your very best. So, I guess the short version to answer your question, how do you control your narrative and bring about your own words and phrases and a healing space for yourself? It's just, to learn how to be intimate with yourself, intimacy, learn how to have intimacy with yourself, so that you are unfazed by external forces, which a lot of times is smoke and mirrors anyway.
Woo. So you dropped a lot of gems in that. And what really gave me chills is the
Mm,
walking toward the mirror.
mm,
Because a lot of times and I can speak definitely for myself, walking toward the mirror, you're
mm,
looking at yourself, and a lot
mhm,
what you see is, oh, I wish I could have did this. Oh, I probably should have exercised more. Oh, you see, I got a new role here. Oh, this, oh, that.
mhm.
But that's noise. That's
That's
noise.
nice. And that's when you say, thank you. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for taking the opportunity to take this new role and be courageous, Thank you for
Mm.
getting up each day, And then I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I doubted you. I'm sorry that I don't have, the strength to go on some days. But you know what? Like, I apologize for all that, but I love you. And we keep it moving forward. So.
We uplifting some emerging adults today. Young ladies, I hope when you hear this, you put it on repeat. You put it
Mhm,
on repeat. And it's not something to listen to once and say, oh, I got it. No. Save it for later too, for those moments when it's really
mhm,
challenging.
mhm,
And you can remind yourself, oh, wait a
mhm,
minute. I have a strategy to block out this noise.
mhm,
Mm, mm. Yes, yes, yes. You know, oftentimes, especially as a woman of color, we want to deliver at a very, very high rate, a very high percentage. We don't want to just give 100%. We want to give 150%. We want to run 10 steps ahead because we have this feeling of having to prove ourselves in the
mhm,
workplace.
mhm,
And a lot of times it results in I'm too busy. I don't have time for that. I can't do this. I can't do that. No, I don't have any time for myself because I have to get this done. I have to show up and I have to be get it done first and be 5 steps ahead in order to. What
Yeah.
advice would you give to young women or even women that are in the workforce now who
Hmm.
feel like they have to show up strong and go hard every time and forsake
Hmm.
themselves?
I would say as hard as you go for others, go just as hard or double down for yourself. So if you are going to extend all of that energy to others, first extend it to yourself. And if that ratio is off, it's time to reevaluate things. That's what I would say. Additionally, I would say that it is difficult being a racialized person. And what I mean by that is that, you know, race is a social construct. You know, people tell me I'm black. I'm like, I'm not black. I'm literally brown. But, you know, with being a racialized individual, when
Mhm.
people look at you and they say, hey, you're black, and they have preconceived notions about how you should think, how you should act, how you
Yes.
can produce, about, you know, just all types of things that may not even be true. So it's difficult when people are forcing their opinion on you and maybe oppressing you because of these opinions. Um, you know, for instance, like not giving you house loans, not giving you promotions, not allowing you to freely operate in spaces as others would, but demanding more from you.
Mhm.
It is increasingly difficult because you wake up each day and you're like, I am an awesome, amazing,
Yes.
protected, beautiful, brilliant being, right? And then you go into this world and people are like, oh, mm, you need to work harder because you look like this, or I'm not going to give you a pass and let you just sit here and collect money for being mediocre, but I'm going to
Mm.
let this other person do it. Or like, you know what, you and her have on the same exact thing, but because you are a blessed being and you are more voluptuous and curvaceous, I'm going to sexualize you, and I'm going to say your outfit's inappropriate, but I'm going to tell her it's okay because she's pancake patty. You know, it's like so much stuff that happens to us. And I read a book called Wild Woman, right? Highly,
Yes.
highly recommend. And in
Mhm.
that book, she talks about petite mourir, little deaths that uh, we encounter throughout our lives. Little deaths meaning you work your tail off. You're the best and you're the brightest. You study, study, study. You work your tail off. You're doing what you have to do, and you come up for promotion. And then there's some other person who, you know, you might have even trained or you might have even helped study. And you know, based on your rapport with this person, that you have worked harder and that you're just the better choice for the job. You know, objectively speaking. But the other
Mhm.
person gets it because maybe they fit in a little bit more. People aren't threatened
Yeah.
by them as much. And that's a little death, right? You're still alive, you're still breathing, you're still living, you're still a being here. But inside, it's like a jab to your heart. It's
It
like a
is.
little death,
I've
you
been
know?
there.
You
Yes.
know, you go into a store, you know, you have your money bags you're trying to spend, you know, and you see people greeting others and not greeting you, or you see
Mhm.
people
Mhm.
following you or treating you differently, when you ask a question than they treat others, or not bringing you as much goods out. You know, the high end places, they only have a few things out. You know, you got to ask for them to bring stuff out. But you see, you know, they might not bring as much stuff out for you to, you know, view and assess before you want to purchase. So they might have interesting questions that they're not asking other people. It's a petit mot, it's a little death, when you're in relationships and they don't work out because of whatever, although you feel like you have done the work on yourself, you've poured out to this individual and you've just been a loving being that you are, it's not well received, it's almost rejected. It's a little death. Whenever in life you feel like your trajectory is going one way and then it's altered a bit, sometimes it's a little death. And we have to acknowledge these things, right? We have to, because a lot of times we just go through life, go through life, go through life, and we don't get to process all of these little deaths or all of these things that impact our psyche or
Mm,
the way that we're being. And so we're just kind of on,
yes.
autopilot. And you
Mm-hmm.
have to take time to process these things. And also, as the book Wild Woman says, write down all of your little deaths. Make a timeline, write everything down. When I was in fifth grade, I was bullied for this or for that. When I was in high school, I didn't get on the marching band or whatever, but this person did. When I was here, in this situation, there was something that happened that broke my spirit. Write all of these things down. You know, have a bonfire. You know, do something. Have some type of symbolic expression to really not get over these things, but acknowledge that these things have happened. They have been a
Mm-hmm.
part of you, and you want to thank them. You want to say you're sorry to them. You want to forgive them, and you want to love it and release it.
Ooh.
And that's just, those are things that I would recommend. Mm.
So you touched on a lot of things there, and I've experienced a lot of those things as well.
Mhm.
And I love that you have given us the opportunity for others to develop strategies,
Yeah.
because had I had those strategies then,
Mm.
I would have not been so down on myself and filled with self doubt that continued to grow until I had to learn how to
Mhm.
release it. So I love it.
Mhm.
Release it,
Mhm.
acknowledge
Mhm.
it.
Mhm.
And I love that. And I do want to get the book information so I can put it in the show notes for
Sure.
anyone that might want to pick that up.
Sure.
What about boundaries? What would you recommend?
Boundaries. Nuck if you buck, nuck if you buck.
Girl.
To anything that is trying to disturb your peace. Pew, pew, pew. Hey, boundaries. That's a good topic. I think it's important to journal and to meditate, because I think one thing about meditation, especially when you do like guided meditations, a lot
Hmm.
of times they'll say like, okay, consider yourself as like a being of love, and consider that you have like
Yes.
a pink flower, lotus
Hmm.
flower, in your heart space, and that light from the lotus flower comes out and it encapsulates, your whole body. And imagine you're walking through the world in this sphere
Now
of
you're gonna
pink
make
light.
me change to how I talk when I do my guided meditations.
Imagine you're walking through the world in a sphere of light and love, but it sounds kind of hokey, but it is so true. When you start to really meditate and you get into these different states, whether it's like, feeling surrounded in love, feeling surrounded in power, feeling surrounded in safety, I literally go out now, and sometimes like I'll just feel like, yeah, I feel like I'm surrounded in pink light today, and I'm going through the world, and there's really nothing that is encroaching upon myself, because I have like that sphere of protection. What's it called in the Bible? It's like go out with the armor of
The armor of God, that's
yeah, the armor
Ephesians.
of God. Yes.
Yes, in
Go out with the
Ephesians.
armor of God,
Yeah.
in Hinduism, with meditation, it says, surround yourself with this sphere of light and love, But it's really about, I think all of it's about like protecting your energy, right? And that
Protect your
comes,
energy.
yeah, and that comes with being able to to say boundaries. Boundaries are for you to state, and other people may or may not follow them. If they
Mhm.
don't follow your boundaries, well, then that person, we may have to reevaluate if they need to be in your life, right? And so a lot of people say, well, it's my family, it's my parents, it's my significant other, like, okay, like some people say maybe their mother or their mother-in-law is a little bit too overpowering, like with their newborn or with the way that they raise their children, or
Mhm.
even sometimes you have like mama's boys, and their, your partner's mother might have too much control over that person that you're comfortable for in your
Not ready to
relationship.
cut the cord. Mhm.
Yeah, so you have to have these conversations with people. So if you have an overpowering parent who is trying to tell you how to parent, you can say, I really appreciate all that you've done for me, raising me and instilling your goals and values into me. And I would hope that you would trust that everything you poured into me, I'll now be able to parent my child in the way I see fit with
Mhm.
everything that you've poured into me. So, when I am parenting my child, sometimes you cut in and you say, oh, you should do this, you should do that in front of my child. I don't appreciate that. I need you to refrain from that and just trust me that I've got this. If you want to speak to me about my parenting style later on, away from my child or whatever, we can do that. But in the moment, that's sending confusing messages to my child. I'm the parent, not you. So I just
Mhm.
need you to trust this. Or in relationships, a lot of people say, oh, my partner doesn't want to use protection, and you just have to say, like, hey, I love this connection that we have, this connection that we're building and everything. And as much as I love this, I love myself more. And
Mhm.
so part of me loving myself is I'm going to protect myself at all costs, protect my heart, my spirit, my body, my mind, everything. And physical protection is a part of that. And so I'd
Mm.
love to continue exploring this with you, but we do need to use protection. And that protection can be whatever it is based on whatever your sexual preferences are. If that's PrEP, if that's birth control, if that's condoms, if that's dental dams, whatever. But yeah, so just being able to talk about that. And if your partner pushes back, well, then maybe that partner's not for you. If your parents push back on your parenting techniques, well, maybe you need to give them a timeout. And
So you're saying identify your deal breakers, communicate
mhm,
the message.
mhm. Have your core values and stick to those. And anyone who is not able to, function within your core values, then
Yeah. There you go with that dance.
yeah, if you will.
I am like loving it. I'm loving it. I have a quote that I want to read to you and get your thoughts on. And I
Absolutely.
know for this entire month, I'm doing with each guest.
Okay.
Okay, so the quote is, if I didn't define myself for myself,
Mm,
I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and
mm,
eaten alive.
mm.
Audre Lloyd.
Yes.
What what is that? What message and what mechanism or strategy would you give an emerging adult around this quote?
Yeah, that's a great quote. I think it's similar to that quote that's like, you know, don't allow anyone to write your own narrative. Always like have your own pen or something like that. But always make sure you have your own pen so you're writing your own narrative and don't let others to like write the book of your life or something like that. But if I didn't define myself for myself, I would be crunched into other people's fantasies for me and eaten alive. I think it's the same thing that we've been saying all along during this show, right? It's the mirror thing, right? You're walking, you see yourself at the end in the mirror, and people are throwing different ideas of what they think you are, but you have to stay focused on yourself. Um, if you don't believe in you, no one else is going to believe in you.
Ooh.
You teach people how to treat you and how to love you, right? So that first starts with loving yourself. It's just like when you're looking for a partner, you become the partner that you want, and then you attract that because you attract mirror energy, right?
Mm,
So it's like you always have to be the solution for yourself. And once you figure out that you're the prize, you're the solution, you are worth it, you are everything, and you do the work to be the it girl, the it guy, the it they, them, the it person for you, then everything else will fall into place and you'll only be attracting that energy to you. And you just won't be deterred by this world. There's so much, spiritual energy, there's so much going on out there. But if you work on yourself, if you affirm yourself, if you truly learn to love yourself truly and deeply, and this takes a lot of work,
It
um,
does. It
you
does.
know,
It's a lifestyle.
yeah, and what does that look like? Because people always say, oh, people say self love, but how do I get there? It starts with getting adequate sleep. It starts with nourishing your body with
Hmm.
nutrient rich foods. It starts with, um, I think my
Forgiveness.
gonna die. Yes. It starts with forgiveness. It starts with being grateful and thankful for everything that you do possess and have. It starts with being able to, yeah, just recognize and acknowledge things that have happened to you and that are happening to you and how you react and respond to them. And forgive yourself, forgive others, and then love yourself and love others. So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Woo. Look, I had chills because I echo your sentiments. I mean, you said it great. So, what advice would you give your younger self to help cultivate self trust?
To help cultivate self trust, I would say never stop creating.
Mm,
When we are children, I think that we are so connected to the divine source, right? We just create, we sing, we laugh, we dance, we're so free. And
hmm
somewhere along life's experience, whether it's the little deaths, whether it's people infringing their perspective on us, we lose that freedom to create. You used to always make all types of arts and crafts, whether your parents cared about it or not. You made them. You were so proud because you were creating these things, crayon drawings, little sticks and glue and all this kind of stuff. But you were so happy. Look what
Macaroni
I made.
necklace.
Exactly. You're like, look what I made. Look what I made. And I think that when we continue to create, we tap into different elements of ourselves. When you write a poem, when you make a painting, when you do like paper mache, when you do a floral arrangement, when you do whatever kind of creative, when you make podcasts like these, whatever type of creativity you feel like you have in you, do a little bit of it each day. Set out just 15 minutes each day just to tap into creativity, and after a while, that 15 minutes will grow into 20 minutes, 30 minutes. You're going to be late for work, late for school, because you're going to be so surprised with all of the creative energy that comes out of you. I have to get another charger.
Well, I just want to thank you for being on the show. This has
Okay.
been like a great conversation, and I'm super excited about it. And I hope you'll come back. I
Thank
hope you'll
you.
come back. And me timers dropped a lot of gems on the show today. And for those that are listening, listen, take some notes, ask us some questions. I will post some information for you to get in contact. And if you have any other questions, but Janelle, thank you so much for being on the show today.
You're most welcome.
It
Thank
has
you for
been my
having me.
pleasure. And
Thank
plus,
you
I'm gonna
for
take you
having me.
up on that swimming.
Yes, please. You're going to be Nemo in no time.
Nemo, okay. All right, y'all. Okay, now me timers. Remember, this is me time with Mind Escape Vibe, where it's your time to be kind to your mind. Have a great day now.